Okay, you guys, we're about to start step 6. So this is where we have our switches. So we have the brass brads and the paper clips attached for each switch. So I'll hold this up in just a second. I forgot to put one paper clip in for this switch over here. One thing is you're going to want to make sure that on the bottom of your ceiling that the brass brads, you know how these fasteners, I call them brass brads, but they're called brass fasteners. On the bottom, you do not want these to touch. So we're gonna flatten them out so that the brads stay put, but we do not want these sides to touch each other because then our switch will not work. So you could tape this down so that it doesn't move. With electrical tape if you would like to. That probably is a good idea, but just whatever you do, make sure that these do not touch each other. All right, so now let's do that to all of them. Make sure that the bottoms are straightened out so that they don't move around. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna label side 1 and side 2 of each switch. So if you just take a marker, I'm gonna say 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, okay? So each side of the switch is labeled either side 1 or side 2. So you can see this is my switch A, A1, A2. This is switch B over here, B1, B2, okay? Switch C, C1, C2, okay? So now, what we're gonna do is take all your side 1s and wire it together. So side 1 to side 1. So side 1 of switch A to side 1 of switch B. And you can take some of this excess Christmas wire, that's Christmas bulb wire, that's gonna be your best bet. You're all gonna start to fight over it here. I have plenty. If I have to get more, I'm sure I have more somewhere. We can use speaker wire. But and this is what's gonna take up a lot of wire. So we'll start with side 1 of switch A. We're gonna take this, strip the end, and then I'm gonna wrap it around the brass brad, okay? So wrap it around just like that, so you can kind of see. So side 1 all the way to side 1 over there. So I might have to kind of go diagonal because my wire's gonna be too short if I try to go along the outside. So I'm gonna just cross through here and go to side 1 of switch B. Okay, be very careful that there's not like snagged little copper wires or snagged wires anywhere because it could mess up your circuits. So if there's one wire touching something that it shouldn't be, then it will not work correctly. Okay, so there is A1 to B1. Now we need to go from B1 to C1, and then from C1 back to A1. All right, so let me get some more wire here. All right, so now back from A1 all the way to C1. Okay, and again, I'm gonna have to go diagonal because this takes a lot of wire. All right, so here we go. Wrap it around C1. Just try to keep it clean. And I do have to straighten this brass brad up yet. All right, and then make sure that you go from C1 back to A1, okay? So that is your last step for step 5, okay? I'll show you just a second what it will look like. All right, so then I go C1 back to A1. Now again, I'm looking at a little too much wire here, so I'm going to cut it down. And there we go. So you can see, I'll get the camera here so you can see. Okay, what it looks like. So remember, A1 to B1, B1 to C1, C1 back to A1. Okay? All right, we're ready for the next step.